Hello everyone, back tuning into today's first video. We're going to have a look at the weather next 10 to 14 days for today's first video. So day 10 will take us to around the 9th of August, so we'll be able to extend out beyond that, get set at GFS and ECM ensembles running to a couple of weeks. And we'll have a look at CFSB2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks. We'd normally show you Beijing Climate Centre next 40 days on a Thursday. The charts at the Beijing Climate Centre have been inaccessible for over a week now and continue to be inaccessible as well. So what's going on there, I'm not sure, but we can't show Beijing Climate Centre at this time. We will show you, as I say, the CFSB2 for the next 4 weeks, however. So I'll get on that for you very shortly. Just say that coming up later on, we're going to have our latest USA forecast, so that will be with you later on this afternoon. Well, into this evening, really. Now, reached another milestone for GavsWeatherVids, so let's begin there, shall we? We have reached, now, we're on the About page to GavsWeatherVids YouTube channel. We have now reached a total of 5,643 video views. There's the number just there. We have gone to 5 million, or just over 5 million video views. What an incredible statistic, and a big thank you to everybody for getting us to 5 million video views. That's since the channel was created in 2014 on the 13th of February 2014. Of course, we had the original YouTube channel first for a couple of years, from 2012 to 2014, and then we changed over with the weather videos to the GavsWeatherVids YouTube channel. But yeah, what an incredible stat that is. So 5,643 views for all of the videos that we have uploaded to this channel since February 2014. It's absolutely phenomenal, and I'm totally amazed at that number. I mean, that is like a small country watching all of the videos, isn't it, really? So it's absolutely incredible that we have reached 5 million video views. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for watching the videos, for getting involved, and the support that you've given to me and to GavsWeatherVids over the past 6.5 years. It's been an absolutely phenomenal journey, and when I started, I never expected that things would get as big as they have done with GavsWeatherVids. I just started, you know, sort of with a personal project, playing around with a few little weather videos and whatnot. And very gradually, the things just built up and taken on a life of its own. It's really down to all of you for the support that you've given that this has built up as it has. So just thank you so much to all of you. I'm always amazed at the support that I get, and yeah, so we've reached yet another milestone in the history of GavsWeatherVids. I suppose the next milestone we'll be looking for will be 8k subs to the YouTube channel. Who knows when that's going to happen, but eventually I suppose it will happen, and yeah, that will be like the next milestone. But for now, let's celebrate reaching 5 million video views. What an incredible number that is. So thank you so much to each and every one of you for getting us to 5 million video views. It's completely amazing, and I'm blown away, so thank you so much to all of you. Right, let's get on with the video then, and we're going to start off looking in the tropical Atlantic. So we now have another named tropical storm. We've been watching this disturbance area in the middle of the tropical Atlantic for quite some time. It has now developed into a tropical storm just here. This is Tropical Storm Isaias. Isaias has become our next named tropical storm. So as of this morning, National Hurricane Center was saying that this was giving 60 mile per hour sustained winds with a minimum central pressure of 1,003 millibars and moving northwestwards at 21 miles per hour. If we click on Isaias we can see the track of this storm. Well, let's look at a couple of the key messages about this first of all. So first of all, we're saying Isaias will produce heavy rains and potentially life-threatening flash flooding and mudslides across the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, northern Haiti, and over Bahamas. Point number two, tropical storm conditions are likely across portions of Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico through this morning and will spread westward to portions of Dominican Republic, Haiti, the Turks, and Caucasus, I think that is, or Caicos, and the Bahamas later today and Friday. Tropical storm warnings are in effect for these areas. Do not focus on the details of the track forecast as rainfall and wind hazards will extend far from the centre of the system. So it's a big system, this. And also point number three, while the system could bring some rainfall and wind impacts portions of Cuba and Florida later this week and this weekend, it is too soon to determine the location or magnitude of these impacts. Interest should monitor the progress of this system and updates to the forecast over the next couple of days. Let's click on this and we can see the predicted track of Isaias. So the current position, as we've just established, is here. And it's going to move in that direction as a tropical storm over the next couple of days. So moving through the Bahamas, like at the end of the week and into the start of the weekend. And then potentially getting to Florida by the end of Saturday and into Sunday, hitting the Florida Panhandle. Then on the Florida Peninsula, I should say. And then moving up the eastern side of Florida, up towards the North and South Carolinas, perhaps, by the early part of next week. Still as a tropical storm. There's still no prediction here that this reaches hurricane status. Of course, as this system moves across these warm waters, it might power up to a hurricane. So a Category 1 hurricane or more. So we'll just have to keep a close on it. At the moment, it looks like it's going to stay as a tropical storm, giving life-threatening rainfalls and wind gusts. And yeah, so another tropical storm in the Caribbean at the moment could well move up towards Florida through the weekend, and then up towards the Carolinas through the early part of next week. So we'll have to keep a close eye on what's happening with Isaias over the coming few days, of course. Right, come back close to home. Things are warming up now out there. So this is from XC, where we've got 26 degrees flashing away there at Le Havre. Many other parts of the country into the low to mid-20s. Headcorn Aerodrome, for example, up to 25 degrees. London Heathrow is at 24, to Western Aerodromes at 21. Wittering at 23, Marham at 23 too, going over to Wales, Lake Berwick is at 18, down to Sennybridge at 20 degrees there, Capel Curry is up 17. Gets a little bit cooler further north, Leeds at 15, and going further north still, it's actually pouring with rain, it's pretty cool as well. So West Delmuir only at 12 degrees there, and Strathallan at a lowly old 13 degrees. Tulloch is at just 12 degrees too. Loch Glasgarnock is at 14 and Altnahara is at just 15. So it's much, much cooler in the north. It's pouring with rain up there, but behind that rain, the air starts to turn rapidly warmer and more humid. Down in the south and southeast, it's already very warm. Things will be a lot hotter tomorrow, though. Things are going to get hotter tomorrow. More about that later on in the video. The CT for July currently stands at 15.7. That's provisional to yesterday, the 29th of July. It's around half a degree below the 61 to 1990 average. So yeah, pretty pretty cool July, despite the fact it's beginning to warm up a little bit now. Tomorrow will be hot. I think this July is going to come in quite solidly below average by it's going to be in the 15s, so it's going to be in underneath the 30-year average, both for 61 to 1990 and also for 81 to 2010 as well. As we go through to August, though, there are a few signs that we might be seeing higher pressure influences for August, and maybe something of a warmer month, certainly the first half of the month anyway. So these are the 500 millibar high dominant flow charts from the Penn State University, with the ECMWF on the top and the GFS down here on the bottom. So 500 millibars is an area in actually high pressure, low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream running above. Red extrapolates high pressure and blue to low pressure. These will take us into the second week of August. You can see it with the ECM. We've got below average heights out to the north, to the northwest, above average heights to our south and southeast. That draws up wind from a southwesterly to southerly direction. So we will get a lot of dry and warm weather involved with that, particularly for more southern and eastern parts of the country, but also in the north and west. You would expect that ridge of high pressure to extend northwards and the warm air and drier weather to be extending northwards with that as well. The GFS looks very similar, again in the 7 to 10 day time frame, above average heights over to the south of the country, below average heights out to the northwest. Jet streams probably being pushed northwards like that. It's less strong with the ridge, it isn't making quite as much of that ridge of high pressure as the ECM does. But I think they're both going in the same direction, which is towards higher pressure for the second week of August, potentially delivering a spell of warmer and drier weather. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We'll look at Gloucester today in the southwest Midlands. So the red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for Gloucester. Temperatures are on the up now. They're going to peak tomorrow, somewhere quite close to 20 degrees at 850 HPA. It is only a very brief heat spike, and then temperatures will be falling away as we go through the weekend and into early next week. We are actually a little bit below average by the early part of next week. However, later next week and on into the second week of August, it does look as though the upper air temperatures are lifting up. Then it's starting to turn quite significantly warmer by the look of it through the second week of August. Some of these ensemble members do become really quite hot indeed, do become really very hot indeed. But they're outliers, of course. They're on the hotter end of the scale. But there is generally a warm-up that's taking place there through the second week of August. It does look as though things are going to start warming up again towards the end of next week. Precipitation-wise, a lot of dry weather coming up. Very little in the way of thunder associated with this heat spike and drop in temperature. You'll notice these spikes just here might be indicating a few thunderstorms, but not much really to go on. I think more eastern areas have a better chance of a little bit of thunder, like on Friday evening and Friday night, but even there, things do look quite limited, I have to say. A little bit more uncertain through the early part of next week, some showery bursts of rain Monday and Tuesday probably, and then could well go back into a drying trend actually then later next week, and then on into the second week of August, maybe around mid-August. A little bit more unsettled then, but that's like 2 weeks away, so of course that's going to be a really, really long way out. Okay, so we can't show you the temperature and precipitation anomalies today. They're not accessible. So what we're going to do is move on to the mean wind flow charts from earthnorthschool.net and see what's going on today. So a ridge of high pressure is building over and to the east of the country with a deep area of low pressure out in the Atlantic, and this is shown up quite nicely by these wind flow charts. So we've got an area of low pressure just here out in the Atlantic Ocean. There's a ridge building, an extension from the Azores High that's building up into western parts of Europe, and in between, and this is shown quite nice by the wind arrows, in between we're drawing up southerly winds, and of course it's very hot down across North Africa, over Spain and Portugal, over Mediterranean, southern parts of France. That's the direction that the wind is going to be coming from over the next couple of days. So we draw up these very warm to hot southerly winds. They will be very hot southerly winds, high pressure to our east and low pressure out to our west. Eventually this low pressure will break down the ridge. The low pressure will come in off the Atlantic as we go through into the weekend, introducing cooler air. Unfortunately, the breakdown doesn't look like it's going to involve much in the way of thunderstorms, but that shows up very, very nicely the way things are looking today. Okay, so this is how the UK Met is looking for sunny. So by Sunday, we have broken down that ridge of high pressure to the east. We've cut off the southerly, so things are going to be back to sort of normal temperatures by Sunday. And in the north, perhaps even a little bit cooler than average there, with some quite heavy showers coming through. Early next week, quite unsettled. The trough low pressure comes through there by Tuesday, bringing some showers or some longer spells of rain as well. Generally unsettled to the middle of next week, particularly for northern and western areas. It could be a little bit drier down in the southeast. Winds are turning into southwest in the middle of next week, so it does begin to get a little bit warmer down in the south. This is how the GFS is looking again for Sunday. So yes, on Sunday we are in a showery, rather cool westerly air mass through the early part of next week. Quite unsettled, troughs of low pressure coming in of Atlantic, particularly wet for northwestern areas, but even in the south, probably some rain coming through there. Around the middle part of next week, again, there's more showers coming and going, but then late next week, towards the end of next week, a bit of a ridge starting to build close to the country. That begins to drag up some warmer air from the south again, and that's setting us down. So as we go into the weekend of the 8th, 9th of August, we are turning drier and warmer now. Upper air temperatures are beginning to lift up, particularly so down in the south and in the southeast too. Day 10, we're under high pressure, back under an area of high pressure, delivering a lot of dry and warm weather as well. Possibly see some thunderstorms beginning to push up from the south there as we go into more extended range, although of course this is a very long way off. Still generally quite warm though, right way through to the end of this GFS run, which gets us today to the 15th of August. So even then, still generally quite warm, but possibly seeing pressure leaking away from the south, indicating increasing risk of thunderstorms. This is how the GM is looking. So again, we're rather showery and cooler on Sunday. That means cooler, showery conditions lasting to the early part of next week. By the middle of next week, the ridge is starting to build in the south. Lower pressure out to the north and the west. That's brings some rain into northwest, but down to the south-southeast, reasonably dry. Through the second half next week, the GM really starts to build up this high pressure. So this is Friday, 7th of August, with a big ridge then developing over to the east of the country. Winds are being drawn up from a southerly southeast direction, and it looks like the GM is actually developing a heat wave here as we go towards days 8, 9, and 10. This is day 10, Sunday the 9th of August. With a large Scandinavian high at 1,030 millibars. The air is being dragged up from a southerly to southeasterly direction. It looks hot, maybe hinting at a bit of thunder as well, but the main thing is the temperature. Look at those upper air temperatures. So the GM looks like it's setting up a bit of a heat wave there around days 8, 9, and 10. Then we've got the ECMWF, and that one is looking again rather cooler and showery for Sunday. Go through to the early part of next week. Again, it's a case of showery conditions, particularly for more northern areas, but even in the south, there could be a little bit of rain there too. Second half of next week, we start to raise the heights from the south. It begins to turn drier and warmer in the second half of next week, and these dry, warm conditions continue into day 10. So in the northwest, perhaps still a little bit unsettled there, but for England and Wales, mostly dry, very warm, perhaps hot, with high pressure developing both to the south and to the east of the country. There's the upper air temperatures at day 10 with the ECM, certainly England and Wales looking very warm. A little bit cooler for the far north and northwest of Scotland. If we could roll on any further with that, it would be interesting to see what would happen. I suspect we would probably find this ridge pushing even further north, and we will probably go into a very hot southerly wind, I would suspect, if we could go on any further than day 10 with the ECM operational run, which of course we can't, but if we could, I suspect that's what it would do. Right, this is rainfall forecast based on that ECM run from Tamecho.com. So showery rain in the north and west today, mainly dry elsewhere. Tomorrow looking mostly dry and hot. A few thunderstorms there developing on the eastern side of the country, particularly around Lincolnshire. They're very limited in scope. This is probably more general rain across western and southwest Scotland on the cold front. But it's really quite disappointing from a thunder perspective, this breakdown tomorrow evening. Saturday could be a few showers around, but a lot of dry weather. Sunday, mostly dry away from the north and west. Showery rain mostly the early part of next week. Some of that could be quite heavy, particularly for northwest areas, but even in the southeast could be a little bit of rain around through the early and middle part of next week. And then we go drier again into the second half next week, and temperatures begin to get a lot warmer too as we run up towards day 10. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10, which gets us to the 9th of July via the Icelandic Met Office. 14 members of the ECM ensembles have high pressure to the east, low pressure to the west, and they'll be drawing up a very warm or hot southerly wind. 13, including the ECM control room, with high pressure again to our east, but low pressure just a little bit closer from the west. With that, so that could suggest maybe a bit of a breakdown, maybe a bit thundery, particularly in the northwest. 8 with high pressure is like the GEM solution. High pressure really dominated weather from Scandinavia, bringing in a very warm to hot east or southeasterly wind. 7 again very similar, high pressure more or less over the country to a little bit towards the northeast. Again, that'd be very warm or hot. 5, including the operational run, with higher pressure further south, lower pressure up to the northwest. That's a little bit more unsettled, especially in northwestern parts of the country. Could be very warm down in the south. Operational run is not well supported by its ensemble today, though. And 4 with high pressure, again, just to the east, low pressure out to the west. Again, that could be a little bit more unsettled. I think most of those options at day 10 are looking rather anticyclonic, dry and hot, actually. Many of the ensembles are going in that direction. 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This gets us to the 14th of August. 19 members of the ECM ensembles have low pressure out to the west. They're going to be a little bit more unsettled and cooler. 13 with high pressure over to the east of the country. They're drawing in very warm or potentially quite hot easterly winds. 10 down here with high pressure to the south, low pressure to the north. That's going to be like flat westerly, could be quite warm in the south, a little bit more unsettled in the north. And 9 have us under an area of high pressure. I think the trends for August could be increasingly towards high pressure here, being drier and warmer weather at times. SV2 looks like this. These are 500 millibar heights bring down to week periods. The first week period takes us from the 30th of July to the 5th of August. As I say, we'd normally show the Beijing Climate Centre on a Thursday, but we can't. They still are not accessible with the charts at the moment. So CFS, week 1, looking a little bit unsettled now, bringing low pressure in from off the Atlantic. Showery, particularly for more northern areas. With that high pressure in week 2, though, this is the 6th to the 12th of August, the ridge builds up from the south, and that turns us dry. Could be very warm to hot, actually, particularly more southern parts of the country with that one. Week 3 is the 13th to the 19th of August. High pressure rain sits just to our east-northeast. That will be drawing up a very warm to hot southerly southeasterly. Low pressure out to the west could bring the risk of some thunder from off the Atlantic. And then week 4 is the 20th to 26th of August. So maybe just suggesting slightly more unsettled conditions then, although it doesn't particularly show a trough low pressure. Looks like the ridge is moving over towards the eastern side of Europe and pulling back towards the North Atlantic, which might imply the jet stream is digging southwards there. Maybe a rather cooler and more unsettled latter part of August. And then the last thing I want to show you is tomorrow's temperatures with the high resolution arpege and icon models from Weather Outlook to see how hot things are still being forecast to get tomorrow. So this is today's maximum temperatures with arpege. So yes, down in the southeast this afternoon we could well be up to around 28 degrees. That's 82 in Fahrenheit. Very warm night coming up tonight down in the south and the southeast. And then tomorrow the heat really builds quickly through the morning. This takes us into the afternoon, so they are 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 35 degrees is being suggested there. 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon in London with arpege. 35 degrees is around 95 Fahrenheit. Arpege then actually lists that up to 36 by 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Somewhere like central London is forecast by arpege to get to 36 degrees, so that is around 96, 97 Fahrenheit, perhaps, down in London. Elsewhere, we're sort of low 30s. And then as you go into the latter part of the afternoon and evening, the heat begins to decline. And by the time you get through to Saturday, Saturday is still quite a warm day down in the southeast corner, still up to mid-20, but nowhere near as hot, and we'll have a fresher feel. And then by Sunday, actually, we're into significantly cooler air mass, particularly for northern western areas. That is arpeggio, very hot tomorrow. Let's have a look at Icon. DWD Icon looks like this. So yes, it looks like this. So this afternoon, again, upper 20s, 27, 28 is possible down in the southeast corner. And then tomorrow, heat builds further. Icon not going quite as intensely hot as arpeggio. Something we're seeing between these two models. The Icon is not quite as intensely hot, reaching a maximum, I think, of 34. 34 is being forecast by Icon tomorrow afternoon around 3 o'clock, the southeast corner, whereas arpeggio is going to 35 or even 36 degrees. 34 is plenty hot enough, though. Plenty hot enough down in the southeastern corner. Then we'll go through into Saturday, and it is still very warm in the southeast, but nowhere near as hot. The heat gradually drains away as we go through the weekend. Sunday is cooler still, temperature sort of low 20s on Sunday. And by the time we get through into Monday, maximum temperatures are struggling to get much above around 21 or 22, actually a little bit cooler than average by Monday. Okay, that's it then for your main video for today. So we're going to be a case of wait and see how hot it gets tomorrow. Looks like temperatures are going to get towards the mid-30s Celsius. Whether we get to 36 quite remains to be seen, but certainly 33, 34 looks very, very probable for the southeast corner, well into 90s Fahrenheit. And then same idea, temperatures cooling down over the weekend. By the early part of next week, go a little bit cooler than average. However, we might not have to wait very long for our next spell of very warm weather to start to develop. I think by the end of next week, the trends are increasingly towards high pressure, turning very warm through the second half of next week and on then into the second week of August, probably. We'll be back later on with our latest update from America. Tomorrow, we've got a lot coming up tomorrow. We're going to have the European Outlook, we'll have Germany Friday, we'll have a 10 to 14 day update. We'll be keeping a close eye on how hot it's getting, of course. And July's ENSO update will be released tomorrow night as well. So a really busy day at GavsWeatherVids tomorrow. Come back later on for the USA forecast, but that's all for now, and thanks for watching.